Golden Dome and the Biden cover-up. It's 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV. 5 things you need to know in about 10 minutes for Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. I'm Derek Gilbert. Item number 5 today, the autopen. The autopen may have been running the country for the last 4 years, for all we know. The new book, Original Sin, that I've been telling you about by CNN's Jake Tapper and Axios' Alex Thompson, makes the claim that 5 aides inside the White House actually ran the country because Joe Biden was cognitively incapable. This book draws on hundreds of interviews with people behind the scenes. The thing is, this reporting should have been done during the Biden administration, not now that Biden is out of office. It's the journalism, the legacy media, trying to pretend now that they're actually doing journalism. See, look, we're reporting on this now, except that during the last 4 years, they were telling us that everything was fine. You're not seeing what you're seeing, which is a classic example of gaslighting. This is a scandal of epic proportions. This is the biggest presidential scandal in history. Forget Watergate. This is bigger. Unelected people behind the scenes were actually making policy decisions for a president who was cognitively impaired. His family knew it, his aides knew it, the Democratic leadership knew it, and it only became obvious, so obvious that the media couldn't hide it anymore during that disastrous debate last June. Sorry, Jake Tapper, Alex Thompson, the rest of the legacy media who told us we weren't seeing what we were seeing during the Biden administration. Too late. You have lost all credibility, as far as I'm concerned, forever. And now for Joe and Jill to come out Sunday, just before the book drops, and announce a prostate cancer diagnosis that oncologists say should have been caught as far back as 10 years ago. And this is a man, president of the United States, with access to the best doctors in healthcare in the world. For this not to have been caught, there is a 99% chance that simple blood work on the president would have caught the antigens indicating prostate cancer, especially an aggressive form that is now metastasized and gone to his bone. Look, we do not celebrate this. We pray for President Biden. Do not wish this on anyone. But the fact is, this was the guy carrying the nuclear football, the man with the nuclear codes to weapons that could have wiped out most of life on Earth. And for a man in that capacity to not step down, or for his aides not to let this information out so that steps could be taken to put somebody competent in that office. Again, this is a scandal of epic proportions. Topic number 4 today, Israel. Is Israel planning a preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities? Well, CNN reports that the U.S. has new intelligence information suggesting that that's the case. However, the officials they cited, unnamed of course, say that the U.S. government is not determined that Israel will actually take this step. Deep disagreement within the U.S. government as to whether Israel is seriously considering going it alone on this. Now, this is almost a non-story, frankly, bringing it to you because it's been circulating thanks to the corporate media. I would be more surprised if Israel had not worked up contingency plans for a strike against Iran's nuclear facilities, just in case they become necessary. Meanwhile, NBC News reporting the Trump administration is working on a plan to permanently relocate up to 1 million Arabs from Gaza to Libya. Interesting, bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how this works out for him. Trump administration trying to think outside the box and make something happen to change the situation, the reality on the ground for Israel, because if we just continue doing what we've been doing for the last 75 years, this cycle of violence, Israel retaliates, more violence, Israel will keep on going. And at least President Trump is trying to make something different happen. Now, the question is who is actually in charge with Libya? U.S. government has talked with officials in Libya about this, but this past week there was renewed violence in the capital city of Tripoli. Libya is a failed state, thanks to the NATO attack in 2012 that deposed, toppled, and then led to the death of then dictator Muammar Gaddafi. The internationally recognized government of Libya does not even really control all of the capital city of Tripoli. Topic number 3, Golden Dome. The Department of Defense has selected a design for President Trump's Golden Dome missile defense initiative. This was the result of an executive order during his first week in office. President Trump announced this from the Oval Office on Tuesday. The plan will cost about $175 billion. He wants it in place before he leaves office. This plan will blend new technologies with existing U.S. missile defense systems like the Patriot and others. Canada may also partner with the U.S. to help develop this shield. President Trump said Canada wants to be a part of it, which would be a fairly small expansion, but we'll work with them on pricing. In addition to new missile-based defenses against incoming missiles, the Department of Defense also considering non-kinetic missile interception technologies like lasers. Interesting. Topic number 2, South Africa. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa meeting with President Trump at the White House as we record this. Elon Musk, who was born in Pretoria, South Africa, is also part of this meeting. The government of South Africa planning to work with Musk on a workaround to laws in South Africa regarding black ownership of businesses. So that Starlink, his satellite-based internet system, can be made available in South Africa. Now, the timing of this visit is interesting because it comes just days after the Trump administration welcomed 59 South African white farmers, Afrikaners, as refugees into the United States under a new refugee policy announced by the Trump administration just weeks ago. In South Africa today, Afrikaners who want to immigrate to the United States under this refugee program are being targeted by a smear campaign. The South African Parliament recently debated what should be done about these migrants and also debated how to protect South Africa's image, reputation on the world stage. The narrative basically comes down to this. Afrikaners who talk openly about racial discrimination and race-motivated violence against whites could be investigated under treason laws. Don't speak out against the government, that's treason. And by extension, Afrikaner refugees seeking to leave South Africa could be investigated as threats to national security. Here in the United States, we conservatives understand how that goes, as the former administration categorized anybody under the MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, President Trump supporters, as threats to national security. This is how socialists think. Anyone warning in South Africa about the growing movement of racial genocide could be a potential traitor and a threat to the country. Here in the United States, our corporate media is dismissing the idea that Afrikaners are in danger, spreading the lie that Afrikaners own 70% of the land. So how can they be refugees if they own 70%? They don't own 70% of the land. They own 70% of the farmland. That's different. And in South Africa, farmers live much the way farmers here in the United States live. You might have one farm here, and then a few miles down the road, another farm, and then a few miles, meaning they're isolated and vulnerable to violent attack. When we visit Israel, we've noticed that the farmers there live in small villages, walled villages, with a gated entry for security reasons. Here in the United States, South Africa, that hasn't been necessary. In South Africa, not until recently anyway, where there is an epidemic of violence against white farmers, which is why these farmers have left land that some of them have farmed for decades, some for generations. Lives that they built there for decades to come to the United States. The media here, woke activists all over social media, calling them racists and cowards for leaving South Africa, wanting to come to America. Some threatening violence against these refugees, and others saying that they'll be at the bottom of the economic ladder. They won't survive here. The Afrikaners know this and they don't care. They're ready to build new lives here. Unlike refugees coming from elsewhere who demand welfare and say that if they're asked to assimilate and learn English, well, that's racist. I say, Afrikaners, come on. Coming up, given what we now know about the Biden administration, thanks to the media finally waking up after sleeping the last 5 years, you'll never guess who was kind of running things for the Biden family. That's next on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can support the ministry of Skywatch TV and our continued efforts to share the gospel of Jesus Christ throughout the four corners of the world and receive your very own copy of this urgent new work when you order the Curtis Liebel Four Horsemen special offer. Not only does this incredible opportunity include Curtis Liebel's new book, The Four Horsemen, The Winds of Geopolitical Change, which unravels the mystery of the ancient spirit of Babylon and the intoxication of the nations, but it also includes the best-selling book, The Great Inception by Derek P. Gilbert. This incredible masterpiece reveals the hidden cosmic war between God and rebel gods, uncovers the truth about the Tower of Babel, the Red Sea crossing, and the Nephilim. Derek Gilbert takes you on an epic journey through history, the titans of Greek mythology and biblical mystery that showcases the eye-opening battle for the throne of God. But that's not all. This special offer also includes the best-selling book, New World Order, Worlds in Collision and the Rebirth of Liberty by the legendary Terry James and Pete Garcia. This incredible work reveals the collapse of Western civilization, rampant corruption, crime, and chaos driven by a globalist agenda. This book warns of God's impending great reset to bring an end to the current ungodly age and usher in a magnificent transformation. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of over $60. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. So don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity, or you can visit us at SkyWatchTVstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Curtis Liebel Four Horsemen special offer now.
Item number one today, the Biden family's chief of staff was this guy, Hunter Biden. This is according to that new book by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson. They are credentialed, respected journalists, so we can take them at their word. According to Tapper, who was talking to Katie Couric, remember her? Katie Couric on her podcast, she said that Hunter Biden wielded so much influence behind the scenes that he was almost like a chief of staff. I mean, you can't make this up. The former president's son, a convicted felon, a recovering crackhead, and an influence peddler. Now that the Department of Justice, under Joe Biden, by the way, admitted that, yeah, the Hunter Biden laptop, that was legit. Plenty of evidence on there that Biden was selling influence to foreign interests, shall we say, was wielding influence like a chief of staff behind the scenes at the White House. Look, even if he wasn't behind any of the autopen stuff, the very fact that who was under federal indictment at the time was even allowed inside the White House. Joe Biden will go down in history as the worst president in American history. This week on Skywatch TV, we're talking geopolitics and theopolitics. Curtis Liebel, author of the book, The Four Horsemen, Winds of Geopolitical Change, is our guest. Don't miss the program. You can find it right now at our website, skywatchtv.com. Also, over the air, our broadcast schedule posted at skywatchtv.com/channels. Now, we will broadcast on your schedule. You just need to add the Skywatch TV channel to your smart TV, whether it's Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Google TV, Android TV. Go to their app store, add the Skywatch TV channel to your set-top box or smart TV, and we'll be there whenever you click the remote. We're on the internet, youtube.com/watch or at Skywatch Television. That's the address. Don't listen to me. Look at the lower third. Or rumble.com/SkyWatchTV. You can also find us on the on your small screen. If you've got a smartphone or tablet, add our free mobile app for iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire devices, and we will be there. You can carry us around with you wherever you go. And we got links to their app stores at skywatchtv.com/app. Now, here's where you can find us from Skywatch TV over the next few months. In June 13th and 14th, we'll be in Indianapolis, actually the Drury Suites in Carmel, Indiana. That's just north of Indianapolis. Sharon and I will be there along with Pastor Carl Gallups, Micah Van Huss of Southwest Radio Church. He will be a guest coming up on Skywatch TV, the main program here in just a week or two. Basically the theme of the weekend, mysteries of the Bibleverse, the topics your Sunday school teacher didn't talk about. So we're looking forward to that. Sharon and I both speaking twice, and we hope we see you there in Indianapolis. More information at the website marginalmysteries.com, marginalmysteries.com. In July, Joe Ardis Horn joins Sharon, me, Pastor Carl Gallups, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and others at the Go Therefore Conference. This is in suburban Dayton, Ohio, July 25th and 26th. Information and registration at GoThereforeConference.com. And then in August, we welcome you to the Ozarks. Join Joe Ardis Horn, Donna Howell, Nita Horn, Sharon and me, and many others to the Remnant Rising Conference. It's at the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center in Springfield, Missouri. That is August 22nd through 24th. Streaming video is available, and you can find out more and register at hearthewatchmen.com, hearthewatchmen.com, and save $20 by using the promo code SkyWatch20. SkyWatch20 gets you $20 off, and Hear the Watchmen will match that $20 with a $20 donation to Whispering Ponies Ranch. So, hearthewatchmen.com. Sharon and I going to Israel again in October 19th through 30th of 2025. Our special guest is Carl Teichrieb, author, researcher, and lecturer, and we hope you join us because this is a tour that will change the way you read the Bible, not the usual sites on the tour. We go to a lot of archaeological sites that most tours don't visit. So you can find out more about this at our website, gilberthouse.org/travel. That's where we got all the information, gilberthouse.org/travel. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.
The prophecies foretold of a coming Savior, one that would reach across the veil and set the captives free. Featuring Derek Gilbert,
UFO True Believers, the Ancient Aliens Prophets,
Carl Gallups,
the cherubim, the living creature,
and Micah Van Huss.
The story of the giant of Kandahar.
At the Mysteries of the Bibleverse event in Carmel, Indiana, June 13th and 14th.